like the guys at the cruise, whenever they sound check, they start saying, "Cookies are good. Cookies are good." And I was like, that shit got so stuck in my head that every time
he's like laying in bed at night going, "Cookies."
I swear, next time I do another vocal appearance around, I'll start saying like, "Check, cookies are good."
There was a show on Nickelodeon a few years ago called iCarly.
Oh yeah.
And in one of the episodes, the boy that's doing the sound is on the mic and he's going, "Cinnamon buns, cinnamon buns, cinnamon buns." So I used to do that at gigs all the time. We'd be doing sound check and I'd say that.
Oh my god.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 7 of Noise from Ryan's Basement. I am, as always and forever, Ryan, and over here is...
Mushu.
I know what your real name is.
I know. It's a secret identity.
That's when you want to, like, go straight. You use your regular name, but when you're doing evil, you go by Mushu.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Man, so firstly, I just have to say to everybody, sorry for sucking the last couple of weeks. I got influenza A, which sucked, and I was sick for a good week, and then I had a sinus infection after that. And we had some scheduling issues with the guest that we were going to shoot with the day that I got sick. So anyway, it's just been a mess, but we're going to keep rolling on. Hey, we still have the Noise from Ryan's Basement t-shirt contest going on, so share that sucker and sign up. Just for a recap, go find the status, comment a friend's name, like the status, and subscribe to us on YouTube, I believe? Facebook. Like us on Facebook. Like our Facebook page, comment with a friend's name, like the status. Oh, and share the status. That's what it is. Not like the status, share it.
Yes.
That's what I get. It's been like 3 weeks. I'm sorry. So, I guess, first off, I'll ask you what I ask everybody, which is like, what are you doing with music shit right now?
Right now at the moment, we, at least me and Moonsick, we have still a few more shows going around March, April, I think maybe till May. Hopefully during that time, we should be going into the studio to see if we can record our full album.
Nice. Do you have a lot of material for that already, and are you gonna write more?
I mean, we have about most of the songs already. We might add maybe an extra one or two. But right now we feel real comfortable and confident with the material that we got. That we're just actually excited. When it comes to record, the process of how it will go. Mastering and everything.
Mm-hmm. So, I haven't paid that much attention. Who all is actually in the group? I think I probably know most of the guys at least by name.
Yes, we have 2 members from the band Bleed the Victim, Alec and Brett, and...
We're hoping to get them on soon, actually.
Oh, definitely. And we have doing vocals and guitar also Nick Lardoon. He's usually the one that writes most of the Moonsick material.
Okay. And you play bass?
Yes.
Do you sing any of the songs?
Not at the moment, but...
The reason I asked that is because I know you filled in for Chris this weekend, and so I was curious.
It's actually, and I had a lot of people approach me about that. They were asking me since when I've been doing that. I was like about 5 years ago. I used to do that, not like as a frontman, but with my old bands that I used to have in Puerto Rico. We did like a few covers, and one of the covers I used to scream my lungs out was from Anal Cunt. So, I mean, it's for me it was kind of natural, but it wasn't really supposed to be like a fill-in for Chris. It was more like an idea to collaborate more on a song with him. And then you know, he went through what he went through, you know, in surgery, and you know, I'll admit I was more like pissed at myself because I was like, like he's not here around, but you know, everybody over there had so much love. They were mentioning him, you know, they were sending vibes. I know he doesn't like the sending vibe stuff, but you know, he was spoke very highly, and you know, his presence was felt all over the place. But yeah, me standing on a stage, you know, just to grab a mic, yeah, I was like, wow, I have not done this in a while, but it felt like almost like second nature for me.
Yeah.
So like as soon as I got up, you know, the first day I was hearing people freaking shouting my name. I was like, it's like people. It feels like the first show in KC Moonsick again.
Yeah.
Like and I had people saying like, wait a second, like I know like you freaking support, you know, take pictures and videos for bands. You play bass, you play acoustic guitar, and now you also sing. Like, can you cook? I'm like, okay, let's not go that far.
I'm not ready for that. Let's just.
But yeah, I mean, I feel it for abscission and sociopathic predation, and then we also had Paul Ryan doing 2 more songs. We had Alec cover for one as well. Then we also had I think it's Carl from Gorgatron. He came all the way to Kansas City and he nailed that song. I was like, wow, like that was masterfully done.
Yeah, I saw some video of. I don't remember which one it was, but one of the ones that you did, and I really liked it because you gave it a little bit more of like a punk vibe almost. You don't do like the low grovelly. You do like more of like a screaming thing, which I really dig.
And that's as ironically as you just mentioned, that's the type of singing that I used to do a lot, especially you know with doing you know Cunt for a cover. And the bands that I used to play back in Puerto Rico, although they were still kind of metal, but it was more like a crossover of a thrash metal, you know, like combining hardcore punk and all those elements, you know, like DRI, Cryptic Slaughter, and so on. So like I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna scream my lungs off. And of course, you know, like me getting used to now this voice for almost 3 weeks, I'm not sure if it's gonna be a permanent one, but you know, if it is, then you know, again, I'll have to like start from scratch, you know, begin to practice and whatnot. You know, I'm not saying that I'm gonna be doing like any vocals project later on, but I mean, it was like the same thing when Bleed the Victim was recording at Chapman. There was a track that you know they were still need a recording to do, and they just asked me, and like in less than 24 hours, I just sit there, practice it, and the next day we went over there and we recorded. And you know, Rob does a phenomenal job at recording and you know mixing, and he was like, man, like you actually did pretty good, and I will admit, like that day I kind of flipped out because I was like, man, like I kind of do miss this and whatnot, and like a few weeks, almost a month later, I just approached the fellas and I told them like, hey, like are you guys like looking for a bass player and whatnot, and in like almost 2 weeks I learned like all the material that was needed to learn. And, you know, I guess I finally got on stage, you know, to play in Topeka at Jaime Serrano's birthday. Then we went to play at the Riot Room and so on until today.
Nice. So, okay, I'm going to ask you, like, harder questions.
Sure.
So, how long have you been playing music?
I would say since I was probably like 10, 11 years old.
What did you pick up first, guitar or?
Well, I would say before guitar, I actually, you know, started singing a lot. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll admit, like, you know, like, I started singing more, like, pop songs and whatnot. But later when I got into guitar, I still did a little bit of pop, but then I started, like, you know, like, with soft rock and whatnot. And then, you know, like, I started hitting, like, bands like MXPX, NoFX, The Offspring.
Nice.
From there, I kind of got, you know, I started hearing a little bit of Metallica. and Megadeth, like a little bit of the big four, and discover little by little. So yeah, like from there, I guess one of my friends nearby hometown, he kind of wanted to start a power metal band, and he just told me like, hey, like if you want to play bass, I'm like, okay, sure. So I'm playing bass like normally. He goes like, do you already knew how to play bass? I was like, well, I play acoustic guitar, so for me, like to translate whatever I play in acoustic guitar to a bass, it's just pretty much just one string at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do power chords, but with power metal, I just kept it simple. So we play a few shows back in PR. That was like almost 2004, I want to say. And a few months then after that, the drummer that I had in that power metal band, he had that other project. And that was like the crossover project that we had. And I was like, wow, like it's something I never heard before. I've never really like hit grindcore or black metal or anything like that. And my guitar player at that time, he was very wise when it came to metal. Like underground and commercial and all that stuff. So we started playing a few shows in 2006. From 2008 to like almost 2010, we were like playing every weekend for like 2 years in a row. Nice. And it wasn't until a time that we were like, okay, like we need to take a month off so that we can, start practicing new stuff. And as soon as we took that month off, again, we went like on another roll. And we started playing with a lot of like the punk rock bands in our areas and in the metropolitan. Then we started playing with hardcore bands, and then with the metal scene over there in Puerto Rico. And the time that I was there, I was fortunate to record at least 3 EPs with that band. Then with the other band, I recorded another EP. With the other band, actually, I did actually, I guess, did a little bit of frontman. I did actually multitask. I played bass and sing for another band, and I'm just real grateful, with everybody that I've been able to learn a little bit from, like from not just only recording EPs, but being on different compilations, on documentaries, on DVDs and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's been a real while that I haven't played a lot of that stuff back in PR.
Yeah. You take shit tons of pictures and videos. What was your motivation to start doing that? Like, did you like make it up in your mind that you were gonna be the guy that was gonna like go cover this stuff?
Well, I got to Kansas, I made it to the States around 2013 because, of course, Uncle Sam's Records. And I was stationed for a while in Missouri, like for maybe like 2 or 3 months. Then from there I was 4 months in Georgia. And I guess like I didn't really had orders to where they were going to put me, and they said like, hey, like I guess like orders dropped down, and then they told me like, hey, orders came in and you're going to Fort Riley. I'm like, okay, where's that? And they were like, that's Kansas. And I was like, so what's Kansas? He goes like, well, let me put it this way. Do you like being bothered? I'm like, mm-hmm. Do you like having your family nearby? I'm like, not really. I like to be sure. Then you're going to be fine in Kansas. I was like, well, that explains a lot. And when I made it to Kansas, just about the first month, I was still, getting my car and all that. And every time, like, I ask people, like, what was there in Kansas? And I always heard, like, oh, like, this is the middle of nowhere. And I'm one of these persons that I get curious, because I'm like, yeah, if there's nothing around, that means that there is something nearby that probably people don't like. And me liking to discover bands and whatnot, I just, start Googling, doing my own research and whatnot. And as soon as 2014 started, I found out of a show, actually a concert in the Granada, which was Origin and Troglodyte. I was like, oh sweet, so let me go there, for the first time and whatnot. And I did have a, I did bought a camera, and I was like, you know what, back in Puerto Rico, like one of my best friends, he did take a lot of the videos, like of performing bands and whatnot, and I had another taking a lot of pictures, and I was like, you know what, like I might as well just start mixing a little bit of both, at least for what I can do, and like. At first, I just did it by myself, just without opening another page or anything. And a few months later, when I started hitting more like local shows and whatnot, I discovered of a benefit show which was called Steva Palooza, which was here in Topeka at JJ's. That's where I actually met the Bradleys, met from Origin, Troglodyte, Dark Apostle, like a lot of the local bands, and I just only like the local bands, but like I felt like when I got there, I was like, wow, I feel like this is like the heart and soul of like not just only the Kansas scene, but Topeka, Kansas City, and and such and such.
Yeah.
And
I've learned that too. Like in the past year working with Justin,
Mhm.
it's just like I was never part of the metal scene. I've really become a metal guy like in the last year since I was working with him.
that's nothing bad. I mean,
But like I never really knew what the metal scene was here, and once I started seeing everything that was going on, it just blew my mind. It's like a big family, which is really cool.
And it is, yeah. I mean, there's always your bands that like are big and whatnot, but don't forget that those bands also started local. So
Yeah.
it's just really helping one and another. And when I started, every time that I took a pictures or videos, I presented myself to the band. I'm like, hey, my name is Mushu. I took pictures and videos for you guys. Like, can I take a picture of of you, just only you guys, outside, so that you guys can use it to promote yourself and whatnot. And with the few years that I started doing that, I was like, well, I mean, should I probably like start a page or something, just like on social media and whatnot. And me being from an island, I was like, you know what, let me at like where I'm from, but also like have something around here. So I came up with the Kansas Coquille Nest page. Coquille meaning it's like a tree frog version in Puerto Rico. So I added that name, and I just started uploading most of my pictures that now I take nowadays into that page. And me personally, like I don't really pay attention to like how many likes or all that, but every time like I tag the bands or a venue or whatnot, I always got messages saying like, man, like can we use this? I'm like, yeah, that's the purpose why I'm taking it, so you guys can use it. And they were like, oh, like how much we owe you? I'm like, thank you very much. I don't really want your money, because I know how expensive it is to be in a band, how much it costs, to go to a show, or just to eat around and whatnot. So I prefer just providing that help so that they can save that money for recordings, for merchandise and tour, which is where they will actually be heard elsewhere. And I see that, I'll take that as a payment, because like I'll be feeding up from that good vibe.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of like what we do here.
Mhm.
Like that was the whole intention of starting this. Like, the venues in Topeka have kind of sucked in the last few years, and we were like, I quit playing in the band that I was in and just kind of got away from doing the weekend warrior thing because I got sick and tired of it. I've been doing it since I was like 15, and I just started thinking like, what can I do to still be part of the scene but not be out playing? And this show just kind of happened. I asked Brendan, I was like, hey, do you want to come do a show with me? And we're going to talk to local bands and get people's name out there just to help, because the venues and stuff have just not been good. And man, there's so many bands around here that we had never heard of who are fucking awesome.
I know,
and they're just not getting their name out there because there's only like one or two places they can play.
Exactly, and it's not just only limited to metal, but I mean there's punk, there's hardcore bands. I mean there's bluegrass, and then I'm like, wow, that's something that I've enjoyed and I've noticed around here. Like we have a very versatile scene, not just only of like the bands, but the people that come around and leave. Like there's always like, you know, people asking like, oh, like where you saw them and whatnot. So, you know, like that's why like every time, like whenever either I upload a video, like, you know, I try to facilitate just a little bit extra of help. Like if they want to know what name was the band, where did they come from, or how to even get in touch with them. Every time I upload a video, I put their name, location, and a direct link so that they can add them or, you know, shoot them a message, and therefore they can, you know, get you know, contacted to play other shows and whatnot.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, yeah, I mean, there might be venues that closes, but it's, you know, I've learned, you know, a door closes and another one opens.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't mean like that's the end, you know, like it means, you know, like even with the stuff that I do, what I try to preach with my actions is like, hey, if you want to do something, or if there's people that you need to get a hold of to, you know, create something, hey, do it. I don't care how long it takes, but, you know, you have an idea, you feel it's good, put it into action. Do it, because from there, you know, more things will, you know, will come up to the surface. And when you see like so much productivity going around in the area, not just only here in Topeka or in Kansas City, because we've seen like in the last 12 months, I've seen a whole bunch of bands being so productive, you know, like them recording, taking tours, you know, opening for awesome bands, you know, that's what I'm all up for. I'm not just saying like, oh, like you should also play, you know, with those big bands. I mean, if it does happen, it's great. I mean, it's awesome, but my focus, you know, whenever I go to a show, whether it's to be taking pictures or videos or performing, it's, you know, just to meet up more people. And not just, you know, like, not just only, like, the big contacts, but, heck, meet people that you don't know. Because, who knows, in the end, later on, that person might actually create something. You'll be like, oh, you know, like, there's so many ways to connect around here that if people really, you know, knew what we had on the plate, they'd be real surprised.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with all of that.
I guess, like, I was starting to learn like with somebody when I was little, but I really don't know how to read other than like some certain numbers. But other than that, I just pretty much use my ear, like even for tuning.
Yeah.
Like I'll be standing up and I'll probably be like, hey, Alec or Lardune, first string. I'm like, okay, good. It was like, man, that was not even 30 seconds. I was like, man, I kind of got used to doing that so much that sometimes I don't need a tuner and whatnot. But I'll be honest, you know, like when it comes to like recording and a lot of the stuff, you know, like of course I need to have like a certain type of guidance. And the latest recordings that the latest recording that I did have with a collaboration of Ramon Ortiz. He's a guitar and founder of the bands Ancla and Puya, which are big bands in Puerto Rico. They're veteran bands. And
what is the biggest music scene in Puerto Rico?
Wow.
Like who owns the majority of the scene? Music.
That's actually a real good question, because being even in Puerto Rico, there's a lot to offer, and you know, like they even have like, you know, their Spanish rock, which is more commercial and whatnot. But when it comes a lot to shows, you know, they may not have so many venues, but whenever they mention a certain type of show, a lot of people, you know, will show up to support, you know, locals and whatnot. Sometimes they can because either work or, you know, financial issues and whatnot. But through the years, I've really seen Puerto Rican scene like grow up, and you know, like to the point that one of my closest bros from Safacon, they were able to open for Metallica. And you know, the bass player Wesley, which he's a good bro of mine, like I know he went through a lot of challenges through that year. He went through pain, through tears, you know, from laughter, through good times. And I told him like, hey man, you know, like I know you went through a lot, but you persevere, and that's what I want you to keep doing. You know, like he's been able to every now and then, accumulate a tour around, which he's trying to see if with his band he can come around on July 1st, I think, to Kansas City. So we're gonna see if we can like set up something so that he and his band can come around and play around these lands. But yeah, I mean, like from metal, hardcore, punk rock, there's so much to offer over there as well. And it's such a quiet scene, but at the same time it could be real loud.
Yeah. Awesome. Man. Every time he's done talking, I've just like completely listened to what he said and not thought at all about what I'm going to say next. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, it's nice, every chance we get to have somebody new on the show, it's just a chance to like, get some more perspective on things. Another thing that I ask a lot of people that I have on is like, what kinds of issues they see in the scene and how they think it could be better, in the local area especially.
Oh yeah, you mean like around here or?
Yeah, I mean this general region, everybody has things that they think can be improved on.
I mean sometimes I guess we sometimes may know about it. Sometimes like we're not thinking about it and we're just like having no idea. But I would say instead of like worrying about like issues that we have, I would say like what can we do to make it better, because I know like when metal and a lot of like the extreme genres that we have, I know like people can be like like misinformative, like saying like like these people are satanic or whatnot, and I the few years that at least I've been like around here in these parts, I've actually met the most humble of people. I've learned, I've been able to learn one or two things from each another, and that there's so much to offer. There's people that they want to do like a magazine, like for the local scene and whatnot, and I tell them, like if you have a vision, and like if you can't do it alone, hey, grab people that you might know, and that they can also put their effort and time for this, to create something. It doesn't matter if it's unique or not, but like be proactive and like and be and take a certain pride of what you're doing. Because if you're gonna do something and you're just doing it just because either you're bored or you don't know what else something to do, then then that's fine too. If you need like a time to just sit down and escape from reality so that you can gather your wits and think about like, okay, like what do I really want to do? Like it doesn't matter if it takes you months, years, I don't care. But when you come up with a product and you're like, you know what, like I think it's time. Let's see how this goes. And you see a lot of people, people's attentions get caught, being like, oh my God, I didn't see this. It could be like from a show, it could be, from episodes, from podcasts, doesn't matter what, like it could be a radio as well. If they have like something in mind, heck, just go for it. I mean, the worst that can happen is just no, that's about it. And if that happens, hey, guess what? Move to the next one. Like I always try to tell people also, like if they have like a lot of visions going on, don't try going to all of them at the same time, because that can be kind of painful to yourself.
Yeah, because you can't go hard at one thing. You're half-assing a whole bunch of things, which is you're never going to be successful half-assing everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I in like 7th grade, I was basically a water boy for the football team. But I remember the coach saying, if you're gonna go into a game and you're gonna suck, don't half-ass it and suck. Go in and suck 100%. He's like, if you're gonna lose, you might as well at least say that you gave it your all. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely true. That's stuck with me over the years.
And at the same time, it's also keeping a very high and positive mind about it. Like there are people that they could be negative. Hey, don't let that, you know, affect you. And if it does, you know, if that negativity dumps on you, then dump it somewhere else, not to
Yeah.
anybody, because
Yeah.
you don't know how that other person is doing, you know. And sometimes I double check on myself, because I mean, as much as people see me like all happy, you know, like if they ask me one of the things that I hate about myself, I'm an impatient person. Like
Yeah.
I am really an impatient person. I've been able, you know, to handle patience. Like I'm not a patient person, but I've had patience before.
Yeah.
So you know.
Well,
It's,
and you've served, and I know the military is a whole lot of hurry up and wait. So
Oh, yeah.
you had to have some patience to get through that.
I had to literally, you know, hold my inner Puerto Rican.
Like the little temperature gauge, it's like about ready to burst. You're like, no, cool it down.
I can make a meme about myself. Triggered.
Oh, that's great. But yeah, well, you know, we'll definitely, like usual, we'll link everything so that people can find your page and all that stuff. We always like to get the word out. That's what this whole thing's about. So
Well, definitely, and you know that's how it should be. You know, like if everybody help each other, you know, like you know that's what I try to do with my actions. You know, I just try to help other bands, and I you know want those other bands to help other bands or other venues. You know, just help out promote. You know what they got, because that's how we actually grow stronger. Not just only as a scene, but you know as a family. We have so much to connect. And you know, right now, like what I've seen around, it's been so well that sometimes what I go and think about, you know, how will the next generation come by, you know, like just to help them also, you know, like sometimes we batch on some of them because like, you know, they probably doing stuff that maybe like it was already created, but it's kind of like furbished, and I'm like, you know what, like. Let them also do that, because I mean, you know, like our time, you know, we had a certain time. It's not like it died, but heck, let the next ones also, you know, give them the chance to carry on that flag and you know establish their own legacy, their own path, and so on. You know, like I know we have a lot of like you know, like hateful like to bash on people, but you know, like every time I've been able to work around with people, they're always saying like, man, like. Being around you, it's like being around a big ball of positivity. I'm like, well, I mean, then feed off from that. I don't mind. I mean, I prefer you feeding off from that than you feeding off from the next jerk, you know, to the door or something.
I feel that way about Justin, you know, and he's such a positive dude, and working with him every day has really rubbed off on me in that way. He's a good dude.
Oh, I mean, heck, the last few days, especially after before the show, like. They were saying like, oh man, like we gotta find a few people, you know, to do these and this. And I'm like, well, I know this song by heart. Like, you know this song? Okay, this is your song. Then like, you know, you know, just rehearsing with him, Jeremy, Clinton, and John. You know, it's also it's what I tell a lot of people. You know, when you do something for the first time, you can get nervous, but I turn to get more excited. You know, to see you know how it goes out. And you know, I've just been so grateful that I've been able to work with so many people, and I'm just looking forward to see you know what comes next. You know, like who's gonna be another person to you know add their time and dedication to this that you know that's been built to this day.
Yeah. Make what's already here, you know, is better in their own way. Yeah. Word. Well, we're going to wrap up this episode because we could probably sit here and wax poetic all night long, but we're not going to. So, with that, this is Mushu. I've been Ryan, and thanks everybody for tuning in for episode 7. Keep tuning in, keep subscribing, share this shit. If you know a band or you know a musician that needs to get some coverage, get a hold of us. We are open, and we're just looking to keep this thing going as much as we can. So with that, rock on.